Hi everyone! Today's video is about jealousy. I'm your professor, Dr. Jennie Rosier. Let's get started. So let's start by talking about what is jealousy. I think it's important to begin by saying that jealousy is a completely normal feeling to have in a romantic relationship. Almost everyone feels jealous at some point when they're in a romantic relationship. Some of us more than others, right? So some people are jealous really, really frequently, maybe even daily, and other people might have way less expressions of jealousy. But jealousy is important in a healthy relationship to make people feel wanted and loved and needed. And so if you are someone who experiences very little to no jealous feelings, it might be okay from time to time for you to just amp up your expressions of jealousy just a little bit to make your partner feel loved and wanted. Now, if you are someone who has been told before that you are way too jealous, I'm hoping that this lecture today can help you maybe start to realize why you experience jealousy and hopefully lower some of the jealousy that you're actually feeling in your body. The benefits of expressing jealousy effectively is that you can tell your partner how you're feeling, right? So that's the goal a lot of times of jealousy, is to let your partner know that you're feeling a certain way, and hopefully you can be seen and heard and understood. And maybe if your partner is doing something to make you have those feelings, having this conversation in an effective way could help your partner maybe stop behaving or speaking in the way that is making you have these feelings. Now, there are some consequences, though, to ineffectively expressing jealousy. You run the risk every time you express jealousy of starting a conflict, right? People don't like to be accused of doing something or their intentions questioned. And so you run the risk of offending your partner, you run the risk of starting a conflict, you run the risk of simply making your partner feel uncomfortable, which could then make you feel uncomfortable, ruining the situation that you're in, like ruining the conversation or ruining the evening. And so anytime you express jealousy, there are some pretty big risks involved, which is what makes it so difficult to do and to do well, because most of the time with jealousy, we have all these feelings rushing through our body, and sometimes that makes it difficult for us to, browse through our Rolodex of appropriate behaviors and communicate in an effective way. In the section on jealousy in the workbook, I talk a lot about some questions that you can ask yourself before you express that jealousy out of your mouth. You want to make sure maybe if you can figure out like the basis of this jealousy. So ask yourself, why might I be having these feelings? Has my partner actually done something to make me feel this way? Have I had past experiences in my previous relationships that have affected my levels of trust or my own self-esteem? There are two main types of jealousy discussed in the literature: normal jealousy and delusional jealousy. Normal jealousy is where there is an actual threat, either towards you or towards your relationship. Your partner has actually done something to warrant your feelings of jealousy. Unfortunately, most of the times when we're experiencing jealousy, it actually is delusional. It is us overreacting to something that our partner said or did. It is us overreacting to something that someone else said or did. It's based on something that has happened to us in the past. So a lot of times Your jealousy is not about your partner or someone who's threatening your relationship at all. It's actually about you. It's about your trust issues, about your attachment issues. It's about your self-esteem issues. And so I think it's really important that before you start expressing to your partner that you're jealous, because remember, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, that you need to figure out, is this normal jealousy or is this delusional jealousy? Let's say that you really wholeheartedly believe that this is normal jealousy. Ask yourself, do you think your partner said or did whatever they said or did to make you jealous, or what the other person said or did to make you jealous? Did they do this maliciously? Right? People make communication mistakes all the time. People say or do things that they don't mean or that they didn't intend to do frequently. Was your partner being malicious? Was your partner doing something intentionally wrong? Did they realize it? Or could they have not realized at the time that it was a bad thing to do or something that would upset you? If you think that maybe they weren't being malicious, they weren't being intentional, maybe they didn't realize it would upset you, there's a different way to approach them. Instead of approaching them with jealousy, maybe you could just say to them, hey, listen, when people do this or say this, it makes me feel insecure. And so if you could just really not do that, that would be really great. Sometimes it's really difficult for us to figure out if our jealousy has a basis. And so one of the things that you could do is write in a journal. So write your feelings out, write what happened, write out how what happened made you feel, like how it made you feel, if it made you feel good, it made you feel bad, what about it made you feel bad. Talk to some friends and family that you trust, that you feel like have been in that situation before or have your best interest at heart. Getting jealous and then expressing your jealousy without thinking it through is one of the worst things you can do. When you're filled with all of that adrenaline of anger or insecurity or sadness, it's not a great time to talk to anyone about anything. And if you care about your relationship, if you want the relationship to end, go forth and say whatever the hell you want. But if you care about the relationship and you want it to move forward, take some time to really think about what happened before you decide to tell your partner that it made you feel jealous. Really break it down. Talk to some other people, journal, and think about what the causes of those feelings you were having, where they really stemmed from. There are lots of things that you can do to express jealousy towards your partner. The first thing is to change your mindset. Like I said a few seconds ago, you need to give your partner the benefit of the doubt. The likelihood that they are out to get you or maliciously trying to hurt your feelings is low. You're in a relationship and they're in a relationship with you for a reason. So if you guys are both seemingly trying to work things out and to keep being in your relationship, you have to understand that your partner probably unintentionally made you feel the way you feel. And so give them the benefit of the doubt. Think that maybe they misunderstood or misread the situation, or they didn't realize that something that they said or did would hurt you. Sometimes people's previous relationships were all with non-jealous people or people who never experienced or expressed jealousy. So people might not have a ton of experience with this. If you are someone who is experiencing jealousy, just know that your partner might have no idea that they've done or said anything to make you feel that way. So when you approach them and actually want to talk to them about it, you want to be positive, you want to use integrative communication, and you want to use I messages. So, when this happened, I felt blank. I felt insecure. I felt like I needed you to hug me right then, and you didn't. You went off with your friends, and it made me really jealous of your friends. Whatever it is, use iMessages, be positive, remind your partner that you love them or you like them, that you are you want to be part of a team, that you want the relationship to work. Remind them of these things while you're expressing your jealousy, and put it more on you. Even though some of you may have done that self-reflection, you realize, oh no, it's my partner who did it. Well, coming at them and saying, you did this and you hurt me and blah, 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 that doesn't usually make for great conversation. So when this happens, I tend to feel insecure. I tend to feel sad. I tend to feel jealous. And recognize that a lot of your feelings of jealousy have a lot to do with you and your attachment and your past relationships. And they don't always have a ton to do with the other person. Those of you who are jealous frequently should really start realizing that it's not that other people make you jealous. It is that you have more of a jealous disposition, that you have more feelings of jealousy than the average person. It's not that every single person you've been with has done terrible things. It's a lot more likely that you find things to be jealous about because of some things that happened in your past, whether it was in your childhood or your adolescence or past romantic relationships. Whenever you're experiencing jealousy and you decide to talk to your partner about it, there's lots of things that you should definitely work really hard to avoid. One of them is escalating the conversation by raising your voice. As we talked about in the conflict lecture, escalating the interaction doesn't help anyone. Raising your voice doesn't help anyone. It just makes the other person likely raise their voice, or the other person cry and get really sad. So you need to work really hard at not raising your voice. Don't point the finger and accuse your partner. Remember, most of our jealousy is about us. It's about us being overly sensitive or just very sensitive to the actions of other people, causing us with feelings of insecurity or feelings of trust issues or something like abandonment issues, some kind of issue that we have, and we are being very sensitive to something that our partner has said or done, and then we are having those feelings because of our insecurities, our trust issues, our abandonment issues, our attachment tendencies. And so work really hard at not accusing your partner of anything. Don't use aggressive language. Again, that never helps. We talked about that a lot in the conflict lecture. Don't be critical and automatically think that your partner is out to trick you, to betray you, or to hurt you. As I said, they're with you. They're in a relationship with you. And it doesn't mean that all relationship partners are good intentioned all of the time. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, if they're with you because they want to be with you. And so they're not as likely to be having these malicious thoughts and acting on them. So work really hard not to think that they're automatically out to get you. Well, that's a wrap. I'm Dr. Jennie Rosier, Associate Professor of Communication Studies at James Madison University. I'm also the director of the RLH Project. You can find me on Instagram at Relationships Love Happiness or on Facebook at /Relationships Love Happiness. Thanks for watching.